I didn't take any notes for this guy.
You took no notes, Mark?
No, because
there was like a 5-chapter story.
I took a lot.
Okay, great. Well, I feel like the Gangplank stuff is really simple and straightforward for him.
I know. I have very few notes, actually. Like, very few. Less than Fizz. So.
Oh, shit.
Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
And my name is Mark.
And today we're talking about the Saltwater Scourge Gangplank, who was released August 19th, 2009.
Another old man, although not in his current iteration. He's changed a lot over the years.
He got the complete rework, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. He did.
New voice, new arm, new me.
Speaking of new voice, a scared man is a loyal man. All right, let's hear yours, John.
They're not just oranges. They're blood oranges.
I don't want to do this segment.
You don't have to.
I feel like there's so much pressure. And I like your takes on them, but I can't do a pirate. It's just like a pirate impression, right? Arrgh, like that's it.
Oh, you nailed
the
it.
moonlight
You got it in
shows
one.
us who we really
Are you trying to tell me that there's pressure associated with trying to voice a character voiced by Matt Mercer? Why would you possibly feel pressured?
I actually had forgotten about that until I actually went and listened to Gangplank quotes being like, maybe I'll actually do a real impression at the beginning of this. And then I saw that it was Matt Mercer. And then I realized it's just a good ass pirate voice. It's exactly what I expected it to sound like, I don't think I've heard really Gangplank's voice before.
Yeah. His old voice was also piratey.
Yeah,
but
sure.
A different quality of pirate, I
Okay.
would say.
and a bottle of rum.
Is that what he said?
Rum?
Yo ho ho.
Actually, that's sounding familiar now. Now that you do that. I'm really wondering, like, do I just not have the fucking audio on when I play League? I don't know what any of these bitches sound like.
It's possible.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have the voices up a ton. I have them way higher than anything else. And I still don't hear them half the time. Because we're rambling about shit, you know?
Yeah, unless... Yeah, by that he means we're yelling a lot about the game. And bitching about, like, tank top laners and
Especially
shit.
if I'm playing Gangplank, I'm 100% yelling the whole time about how bad I am at his fucking barrels, so there's a 0% chance I'm listening to his VO.
I have not played New Gangplank. I know I haven't.
New
I've tried it a
Gangplank.
few times.
Like 2015.
Shut up, it's
Gangplank.
still newer.
I don't know. I was listening to the theme on YouTube, and one of the top comments was like, I wish I could physically play this champion. It makes me wish that I could play him. But
Yeah, anytime I see a good Gangplank, I'm like, oh, fuck, that's what he's supposed to do? Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that. And then I hate it. And get away from me. His theme's so good.
His theme is real good. Mm-hmm. So who wants to take us through the bio?
So the
Teach us
Riot...
a little bit about Gangplank.
The Riot Universe page has a bio and 3, quote, short stories, unquote. One of them has absolutely nothing to do with Gangplank. The other one is like 5 chapters long. And then John dug around and found a separate Gangplank story that, not dug around, it's on Alawi's page. But it's like half about Gangplank.
Yeah.
But it's not on his page.
It's very weird. One of the stories linked on his page has nothing to do with him.
Literally
and then
nothing.
One of the stories not linked on his page is just tells you a lot of background info about Gangplank that you're probably going to want to know.
Yeah, it was a Lucian story, wasn't it, that one?
Yeah, like the Lucian MF, I would say.
Okay, weird.
and Olaf, shockingly.
Oh yeah, and Olaf, I forgot.
Oh, I didn't read the whole thing. I read enough to see
I
that it
didn't
was
either. I
Lucian.
skipped.
Yeah, and then I remembered, like, wait, didn't John message us that one of these stories is not about Gangplank? Oh, thank God it's this one. I'm not going to finish it then. I'll read it later. So his bio is incredibly short. It's definitely one of the shortest bios we had. So I think I'm just going to read what I wrote down as a summary
Okay.
for the bio. It's pretty quick.
I can't wait.
Gangplank is a pirate. And that's what I wrote down.
Good. Good stuff. Good stuff.
I feel like that's all the bio said. It just described what pirates do. It was like, Gangplank is mean and steals from people on a ship. Like, yeah, he's a pirate. I know.
I mean, I guess that's fair. I will say some surprising things about the bio that I didn't know was when I think about Gangplank, I definitely think about a pirate who is local to Bilgewater.
Sure.
Like, he kind of controls Bilgewater. He's like the crime lord there. But I associate him exclusively with Bilgewater. I was surprised to find out in his bio how infamous he actually was. Like, it specifically says he stole Swain's personal warship from Noxus, and he also raided the Shadow Temple and got the entire Order of Shadow mad at him for kind of ransacking one of their temples in Ionia. So, like, he gets around. I mean, I know that's pirate stuff, but
Oh, no, I was going to say that the Shadow Temple's a real tough one. It's cool he got through it. It was just an Ocarina of Time joke. I wanted to make a joke about a specific villain in the Shadow Temple, and I couldn't remember. Bongo Bongo?
yeah, there we go.
Hell yeah.
Got it in one.
Nice Gangplank. Yeah, the bio does kind of say that everyone kind of knows who he is. He's very feared in Bilgewater, but sort of keeps shit together there. Like, there's order in the chaos because of him, because they're afraid of him. And then misfortune kills him, again, quote. And then there's just chaos for a little while, but he's not actually dead. He just, like, lost his arm. He's fine.
Yeah.
And he's meaner than ever.
Yeah, his bio does not have a lot of information about him. You know where does have a lot of information about him? Misfortune's bio. And also Gangplank's old bio, which is referenced in Alawi's short story. So I assume part of it's still canon, even though it's not specified within Gangplank's official bio now, but
Yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about that because, they made a few references to it, and this, like you said, this bio is 300 words. It's only 1.29 chogats, man. It's not a lot. But yeah, I wonder if they kind of said...
I forgot about that.
Right? I check them every now and then when they seem short. This one's fucking short. But yeah, it seems like... Because he got a complete retool anyway. Like, I bet you it seems like a very, like, maybe intentional decision of, well, okay, everyone knows who and what Gangplank is. Like you said, he's a pirate. It does what it says on the tin, right? We don't need to give him all of the tragic, or like in-depth backstory. Like, who gives a fuck, right? And then just let the old lore kind of handle that, I guess, because it's got the same ship name, the Deadpool. So,
yeah.
Why did they name it that? Deadpool's a whole thing.
I mean...
Well, because, I guess to be fair, the reason the Deadpool's called Deadpool is...
I know. It's
also because of the...
Yeah. It's just like... But they've taken over that,
It's his now.
It's his now.
But so I guess since his bio doesn't share a lot of information, I'm going to hop around a bit to other places that share bio-like information that in another champion would probably just be in the bio, but since it's Gangplank, it's not. And I'll touch on a few other places where he is present. So I'll go to the MF bio first, I guess, where we get a young Gangplank.
Oh, baby Gangplank.
Yeah, baby Gangplank. Basically, Misfortune's mom was a renowned gun maker, and a young Gangplank basically demanded that she fashion him pistols that were greater than any others that she had created. So he showed up a year later to collect the pistols. He was wearing a red bandana to cover his face, fully intending to take those pistols without paying for them.
What a dick.
Right?
I mean, he's a
Misfortune's mom. Yeah. Pirate, pirate stuff. Misfortune's mom was like seeing the thug that he had become since she first met him, was like, no, these guns are too good for you. You can't have them anymore. Sorry, bruh. He was not happy to hear that, so he stole them anyway, shot her with them, shot Misfortune's dad with them, and then shot Misfortune with them.
As a child.
Yes, as a child. Her
In
parents
case you're
died.
wondering, should I root for Gangplank?
He's not a hero, per se.
He's just a bastard, and I kind of like that about him. He's just a fucking hard as nails
didn't.
asshole. Oh, really?
I think part of it though is I didn't know. I honestly didn't realize that Gangplank was a villain, as this happens sometimes. Like, I can look at Cho'Gath and be like, yes, bad boy. But Gangplank, he's a pirate, sure, but maybe he's like Jack Sparrow. But he ain't.
He's
So
not a Jack Sparrow for sure.
Yeah, I guess I was a little disappointed. Hopefully I'll come to appreciate him as just being a villain and a bastard, as you say. There's nothing wrong with writing a character that way. But I didn't find that super enthralling, I suppose. I found everyone around Gangplank's backstory substantially more interesting.
Oh, yeah, he's surrounded by interesting people.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of gets relegated.
Yeah.
He's really a pawn, which he would hate, and I kind of like that.
It's worth mentioning that after he shot them, to add insult to injury too, he also set their shop on fire and then smashed the pistols on the ground, saying like, hey, if they're not good enough for me, then no one can have them, which is a character trait which is carried over in some of his in-game quotes. So that was neat.
What a toddler.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like it. I guess I'll just say
Mark
now
was
that I
into
feel
that.
like we've had a few villainous characters. You mentioned Cho'Gath, but I think he's the first kind of human person he's not like Brand. He doesn't have a tragic, his dad was an asshole, but even that's like, there's no tragic backstory. He's just a villain. And I kind of like that. I don't know. So.
No, I'm with you. I like that too. It's sometimes good to have a villain that they don't have any redeeming qualities. That's okay. You can just write like a Joker, like you don't have to give them a reason.
Yeah. And if, and obviously like Jack Sparrow kind of romanticized pirates for us, but like before him too, like pirates were mostly just shitty.
Yes, but I will say it's probably not Jack Sparrow's fault. I feel like pirates have been romanticized a lot in many things.
That's fair.
And we
That's
find them very
fair.
fun and yay. And pirates are not. So, yeah. Maybe they're like trying to, bring back the fear of pirates, riots. Like, this is getting out of hand.
Yeah.
Pirates are a problem.
You gotta make a fucking stand.
Yeah. It's 2009. There's too much goddamn pirate worship happening.
Kids are dressing as pirates, which is kind of horrendous if you think about it.
Now, another bio that Gangplank shows up in is Alawi. Now, he shows up very sparsely in her bio and more in her short story, but in her bio, we basically just find out that they fucked.
I really lost respect for Alawi after this one. I was disappointed.
I mean, I could see it. He's a strong man. Look at that. Have you seen the chest hair that he's got?
I don't care what he looks like. We've established
His
he's a
pubes used to be
bastard that
fucking
shoots
wild.
children.
Well, yeah, but maybe she doesn't know he shoots children. He just knows about the chest hair.
That's true. Once they get the chest hair, they're there. I don't know. I think we should definitely hit it more when we get to a yaoi, because it seems like that fell off, and that's like a decade ago, and that him shooting a kid could have easily happened during that time. I don't know. I have to check I gotta check the numbers on that, but it also yaoi's a little bit more.
Trying to think of how old Misfortune is.
Yeah, yaoi's a little bit more morally gray than I kind of realized looking at some of this, and I think I like that if you're someone who's what was it, in motion is kind of what she would say, it like that's something that she kind of holds up as more valuable than just someone who's complacent, regardless of if they're good or bad. But this isn't the yaoi episode, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
But this is really ruining my ship of Alawi and Braum. Braum won't stand for someone morally gray. He
That's
needs
true.
someone pure and wonderful.
Well, you'll be happy to hear Gangplank is not in the Ruined King game, just Alawi and Braum. So you can
hell
let
yeah.
that ship happen.
Here it comes. And then they will too.
She's grown. Wait. Oh, man. Get like a 500-foot like safe distance, man. Shit. Who knows? Maybe that's like, it's like, oh, you're kind of learning to love someone because Braum is also super in motion, which is I like that whole phrase that she has. But
Yeah.
he's super nice
The
and
man
good,
of action.
right? Sorry, I don't want to talk about a yaoi a bunch. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. We'll get there.
Yeah. So just to touch a bit on his old backstory, since some of it is still relevant. We don't know how much of this is canon. Some of it probably is. Some of it probably isn't. Who knows? But basically, he grew up. This is his old bio. He grew up the son of the great dread pirate Vincent the Shadow. He was extremely tough on GP growing up, and he wanted him to grow up strong. And it's said that his father was the most proud of him when, on his 18th birthday, he stabbed him and claimed his father's ship, which was, again, the Deadpool.
So cute. So cute.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. And then his old bio says, but he knew the pirates of Bilgewater would soon be dragged under by Valoranian politics and the Institute of War, so he figured they needed a champion to represent them on the fields of justice.
Fuck! Mark knew where that was going immediately. He started laughing, and I was like, why is Mark laughing? Oh, okay. I was still I'm still caught off guard every fucking time. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it continues to highlight why the League of Legends sucked so hard. It's because you would take any character, no matter what they're doing, and it always ends the fucking same. And that's why they joined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the person who came up with that, and no offense if you happen to listen to this, they were so fucking proud of themselves that like everyone is going to end with, and then they join the League of Legends. It's going to be choice.
Now, this
Was
might,
that you, John?
This
You
might
looked
be a
at me
bit of a deep cut,
Oh.
but it reminds me so much of Chrono Cross.
I haven't played Chrono Cross in probably like 15 years, so you're going to have to explain more.
So it was an RPG,
Yeah.
Spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger, where you could recruit dozens of characters
So many.
to your team. And because there were so many that you could recruit, the reasons that they joined got like increasingly stupid.
You're right.
And you'd be like, hey, man, nice bandana. I'm going to help you save the world.
John is not exaggerating if you've never played Chrono Cross. It was like the most bananas shit. And a lot of them were like hidden Easter eggs, like how you were able to find someone. It was like, get this person a loaf of bread and they'll join you in your
Right.
quest to save the world and murder people.
That was a sweet bread you baked. Let me help you save the world.
What a great
That
fucking
marble
game.
rye, man.
Okay, so the first short story is called Blood in the Water. It's completely useless. You're just seeing Gangplank kill some Noxians? Why do I always forget which one it is?
Yeah, it was Noxians. but-
Noxians.
How many
Noxian.
Cho'Gaths is this? Because this was also very short.
I didn't count it, but
Didn't
frankly, I
calculate.
should look, because this is truly a short story. Like you said, this shit's fucking... I was surprised. No, I mean, that's it. I've come to expect, like, something when it comes to the flavor stories. Not, like you said, like a skill tooltip. I don't know. 256 words. So we're getting there.
Whew.
That's the length of like the blurb on the back of a book. That's not even a short story. That's what you would use to describe the short story you're about to
Right.
give to someone. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's the story you would expect from Gangplank, but they didn't put any effort into it. I think they cut it out of another story they made and slapped it in.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was at least happy. It looked like it was going to go the way where like the Noxians were going to give in or something. And I was like, that's bull. But then they didn't. They were like, I'd rather die. And I was like, all right, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I'll say the one thing I do kind of like about it is that you're seeing Noxians get defeated, which I don't think we've really seen. You hear tales that Ionia has been able to beat them. Magic has thwarted them sometimes, but Gangplank and his men, they're not using magic. They just legit were more brutal and beat them in some way. And that's kind of a big deal if you've studied Noxus, as we have.
Yeah, like we read a lot of stories about Noxus and them being like, the strongest always get to the top and everything. But you also get the feeling that in Noxus, like there's a place for people who aren't necessarily the strongest in their society. They won't rise to the top or anything, but they'll be there. It definitely seems like in Bilgewater, like the weak get fucked. Like
Yes, like I have so much
you're gonna
more
get stuck. Like
so much more respect for Noxus now.
Yeah, that's a really interesting angle on it. I didn't even think about that, but you got a really good point there. Like comparing the two, right? It's not even something that entered my brain, but that's like true survival of the fucking fittest. Now that you're talking about it,
in a really negative way.
yes, for sure. Yeah, it's you get turned to chum. I was just gonna say, as short as this is, I guess I would. I actually kind of like this. I just wish that it had more. I like getting Gangplank's perspective a little. I like where he had just had like a one-on-one fight with the captain, and he's kind of fucked up, but he's just got this little internal monologue about you still got to smile, right? You can't let the crew see that you're hurt. And then and then Noxian's like, we're the sons of Noxus. You're not gonna. I don't know why I'm getting Italian, hey, we're the fucking sons of Noxus over here. Anyway, we've been watching a lot of Sopranos recently. But yeah, that he's just like, all right, fuck it, burn the fucking ship, kill them all. Like I said, he's a bastard, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This was the great start to a short story.
It was.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna have to just fight another guy, right? After having come off of a really hard duel, and that's just kind of where him, you're the captain, you got to do it. You're fucked up, but you can't. You got to show him a smile. So I guess I'll fight this guy. I don't know.
Bring me my brown pants.
I was thinking that, John, but I didn't want to do it because I'm not a fucking monster. I was thinking it'd be interesting to see Darius's response to this. Someone just, wiped out a whole bunch of his army, probably. I don't know.
Probably not a whole bunch. My guess is that they pick the fight they know they can win. That's the pirate way. Noxians will pick any fight.
That's true. That's true. That's fair. Yeah, I like that.
I was just gonna say that would be a great thing to kind of start peppering in to the Noxian stories as we hit them. There's a direct connection to Swain from the bio, where apparently Gangplank stole his prize ship. So it's something that I hope we start kind of seeing. I don't know if we will, but it'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. And Noxus is very passionate about, we want to kind of invade everywhere, so to speak. They haven't mentioned Bilgewater. Are they afraid? I mean, they wouldn't say they're afraid, but do they have, a separate approach to that? Is it intimidating, the idea of taking over the area where Gangplank is? I don't know. I'm
curious, too, because the thing about Bilgewater, too, is that Bilgewater is part of, the Serpent Isles? And the Serpent Isles themselves are a pretty sacred place where Alawi's order controls most of it. Oh, okay. And they didn't want anyone on there, but they've kind of let Bilgewater go as a whatever. We'll have this tiny little boil on the islands, but they're self-contained. They're not expansionist, whatever. Noxus is very expansionist. I feel like if Noxus ever came to the shore, they wouldn't just be facing the area where Gangplank was. They would be facing a holy order of this religious sect that seems to have pretty direct control over some wild aquatic creatures. That's true. It's fucking wild. Every time they mention something gets falling gently into the water right next to Bilgewater, it's oh, a sea creature's about to eat me immediately. What is in there?
Yeah.
All right, the last short story before the long short story is The Burden. This is only linked on Alawi's page, but we did want to include it because literally half of it is about Gangplank, and this occurs within hours of his ship blowing up, or within days, a couple days?
It was pretty close. It had to have probably been within hours because he was just dragged out of the water.
Okay, yeah.
This was before even the end of the Burning Tides.
Yeah, you're right. It was before he got his new arm.
Yeah. I think it even says actually hours.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it had said hours or days. But you're right. You're right. It did say hours.
So basically, Gangplank's ship has been blown up, which we'll get to in the Burning Tides.
Who did it?
And we find out a little bit about Gangplank and Alawi's past. We find out that Alawi and Gangplank had kind of a thing. There were feelings there. And so she had him hauled from the water. When he gets there, he's kind of like a wild animal. He begs her for help at her temple, and she basically sees that he's a broken man at this point. He was raving about how Bilgewater is mine, and I earned it, and I deserve it, and all that stuff.
Deserve it.
And she's like, fuck. So he wants her and the church to tell Okoa and the other chiefs to support his bid to retake Bilgewater. At this point, she sees that he's strayed too far from the path, from the faith, and is heartbroken that she's going to have to give him the trial of Nagakaboros because she is positive that he is going to fail this trial. But as kind of part of her role within the religion, she has to do it. So she does. Now, this basically involves pulling his spirit out of his body and then just, having his body...
Berating it with tentacles.
Yeah, having his body pounded by tentacles. Nice. But he's actually able to weather this assault and stand up and walk into his own spirit, which I guess is what is required to actually pass the test. So, he passes that, and he's got a line I liked here too, where he's like, next time I ask for help, just say no. But since he passed the test, Alawi tells the priests to support GP in trying to retake Bilgewater. So he now has the support of the religion of the Serpent Isles. And she also tells him to get his arm fixed because it is mangled to hell, which is what he does in the epilogue of The Burning Tides.
And it's icky.
Icky.
She doesn't like looking at it. Yeah, I was mostly confused during this, probably because I think this is supposed to be read with Alawi stuff, because I'm just reading this and I'm like, who the fuck is Alawi? Like, what is this thing? I didn't know she was a priestess. Like, I didn't know any of this stuff. So it was really just mostly confusing for me.
Yeah, I will say as a whole, this whole chunk of lore between Gangplank, Alawi, Misfortune, Twisted Fate, and Graves. This was all kind of rewritten at the same time, and it's definitely supposed to be read as like a chunk. Like you read all of it all together because they all reference each other. Like if you want to get the full story, you're not going to get the full story of one character by reading all of that character stuff. You kind of have to read the stuff of everyone around them, which made sense, I think, at the time when they were doing this event that was centered around these characters. It makes it very hard to go back to after the fact without having that context.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hard, right? Like you said, it was definitely the way to distribute it during the event. I don't know how the hell you organize it best post, we're years past Burning Tides. So it's a really hard problem to answer.
Although the first thing you can do is link the burden in Gangplank's bio.
That's true. That would be a good fucking start, wouldn't it? Timeline-wise, I got a little thrown off because, even here, we were kind of trying to figure out, was it hours? Was it days after? Because the other story that's linked on this page, that Shadow and Fortune one, also seems to happen kind of immediately following Gangplank's, getting blown up. But in this story, they're talking about, bag him when he's trying to retake Bilgewater. That doesn't seem to have happened yet. It's a little hard to kind of figure out, at least a little, how things are kind of lining up. It's not the hardest thing, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I will so I'll get into it a little bit after Burning Tide, since that's where a lot of the context comes into this. But I will give you a list of stories if you're interested in reading more about Bilgewater and the power vacuum that happens as a result of the Burning Tides. There's a list of stories that Gangplank is referenced in only by nature of these are all things that resulted because there's now a power vacuum. But before we get into that, we'll hop into Burning Tides and talk about how that power vacuum was created.
So the Burning Tides is pretty long. It's, I think, is it 3 acts in an epilogue or 4? Or 3 parts?
I think it's 3 parts in an epilogue.
3 parts in an epilogue.
Each part is 4 sections.
Yeah, every part is 4 acts. It actually ended up going by substantially faster than I thought it was going to. I was very intimidated to start reading this. A good chunk of this story is about Graves and Twisted Fate, and it's the one I was most invested in, partially because you're going to their point of view a lot, and partially because I was really invested in their obvious romantic relationship. We'll talk about that when we get to Graves. So I kind of want to, unless we're talking about Gangplank, avoid kind of what they've got going on. But basically, they used to be partners. They're reuniting. They're in an oopsie. They're not getting along right now because that's going to kind of be important. Yeah. Do you have no? I could probably do it.
I do have notes for Gangplank's specific section of this story.
Yes. So. Yeah. Oh, God. What is even the order? I know TF has been sent there to steal something from Gangplank's ship. A dagger. Do you know what that dagger is?
From a
Because there are
warehouse.
hints. Oh, it's a warehouse. You're right. Yeah.
I don't know what it's referencing.
No, I don't. So I wondered, because doesn't it mention in Gangplank's bio that a dagger was taken from the Shadow Temple folks in Ionia? Is that where you were?
Oh, maybe it is that one.
Yeah. The wiki has it listed as the quote-unquote Crimson Coil dagger, which I don't think is related. I think it's just a random thing that Gangplank has and likes. I don't know. I didn't check the reference on that wiki thing, so.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because I think it ends up at the bottom of the sea, and it was, like, glowing is the last they saw of it, but that's jumping ahead. Gangplank gets word that TF is around because he is very showy and not subtle, I guess. And he gets that because a boy is sent to him and tells him that TF has been there. I guess, do they have a rivalry in the past? Because immediately Gangplank is like, oh, I know who that is. I need to go fucking kill him.
He's heard of him, he mentioned. He's like, his reputation has preceded him, and he knows that he's a great thief.
Okay.
So hearing that he is on, he is next to one of Gangplank's warehouses was probably like a, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I've heard he's a great thief, and that's where my fucking dagger is. Shit.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I agree that it feels like there's a bit of history there that maybe we haven't seen.
Right? Yeah. It sounded like there was a grudge or something. I was confused.
There definitely seems to be grudge between Gangplank and Graves. Like, there's definitely history there. And he might just have the knowledge of, the whole Graves TF partnership and knows that, well, if TF's there, probably Graves too. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of action happening here because Graves was waiting for TF when he went to go get the knife, and they fight, and then Gangplank's men come, and there's a lot of fighting there. Eventually, they are caught. But in between that, we do get a little bit of misfortune, and she is planning some shenanigans against Gangplank. I wonder what that is. So I really could not follow the action pieces in this. I don't know if it's the way it was written or if I'm just bad, but I was really struggling to follow a lot of the action here. But I think they were strapped to a cannon, Graves and TF, and then they were going to go underwater, but TF gets away with help from Graves. He's like starting to have a change of heart. We'll get to that. So he gets out and then it goes back. But, right. Okay, so when Graves... I should just let you do this with the notes. So while Graves and TF are under the water trying to get out, they see a lot of orange up above, and that is Gangplank's ship blowing up. So this is the moment when Misfortune blows his ass to smithereens.
Mm-hmm.
The last things we see... Misfortune seems a little disappointed by this revenge. It's not giving her the satisfaction she wanted. And Gangplank is in the epilogue and he's getting a new arm. I don't know if there's any hints there or Easter eggs in the epilogue, but I didn't really see anything.
No, I mean, his new skin has like the new metal arm, whereas like his classic captain skin doesn't. So that's kind of like a before and after. There is one thing, the cannon that they were strapped to is called the Death's Daughter.
Why do they name it? Do they go back and get it every time? They like slap someone underwater?
No, they were, so that one is apparently a cannon that he had on his ship for a very long time, and he was looking for a good way to send it off.
Oh, fuck. I thought they just constantly strapped people to this cannon and then sent them underwater. And then I was like, do they go back and get the cannon every time?
Go get the execution cannon.
Go get the execution. I'm so fucking stupid. I swear to God.
No. But
I mean,
if you have played Gangplank, Death's Daughter is actually one of his ultimate upgrades that you can buy.
There's ultimate upgrades
Yeah.
for Gangplank?
Yeah.
oh,
What?
That you can buy
man.
with a special
You learn the in-game
special
lore.
currency that you earn while playing a match. You can use that to buy upgrades to his ultimate.
All right, anyway.
I will say too, I mean this is more MF related, but her part in this story reminded me so much of Kaz from Six of Crows.
You fucking nerd.
Oh, interesting.
John
So-
recently read that duology.
Oh,
So
okay. So
basically,
that's why it's in
she
your
was
brain.
wronged as a child, her family died, and then it specifically says, too, she could just kill Gangplank, but she's not going to. She's going to wait long enough that Gangplank doesn't even remember her, and then she's going to dismantle what he has built.
She did a bad
from
job.
the ground up, which, if you've read Six of Crows, Kaz's whole mantra is brick by brick. I'm going to dismantle this asshole brick by brick.
Dork.
Very Kaz.
Sure. I mean, the whole setting of Bilgewater, especially as it's written here, has a lot of they're similar, I guess. You know, you've got it's a whole dock town, and you've got all the gangs. Yeah. But yeah, I guess another. Speaking of misfortune, I guess another thing to note is that she was puppet mastering the whole thing, right? You know, she sent TF there. She tipped off Graves about TF being there, and then the little cabin boy who went to Gangplank to tip him off was doing so under Misfortune's orders. So she has orchestrated everything.
A few interesting GP bits. We find out in this short story, too, that Gangplank practices scrimshaw, which is the art of carving
Yeah.
on bone, but he does it while the people are
Yeah.
still alive.
It's a great little scene, right? It's such he's such a mob boss type,
is.
just intro where the little urchin has to go in where he's actively torturing the guy. Yeah, and then he finally captures like Grave and TF, and he's got that great line where like, "Tell me, boys, do you like scrimshaw?" And it's just like,
Yeah. He is very mob boss.
Yeah, especially because it is implied that the person he's torturing in this scene hasn't really done anything wrong. It's just that, like, maybe he forgot his place, and this is a message to everyone.
Why do people live in
Yeah.
Bilgewater?
yeah. Well, they like the freedom, I guess.
They like the black mist that comes every now and then.
This sounds horrible.
They like being haunted. Well, I assume it's all the reasons you'd expect, right? They're criminals, or you're someone who's like Gangplank who can succeed in that environment. All the usual suspects, right?
I imagine real estate's real cheap.
Live in the woods.
Sure. Yeah.
You might run into Annie, but it's fine.
Another interesting mention here was the Butcher's Bridge call out, which if you were playing League during this event, they reskinned the Howling Abyss ARAM map to be Butcher's Bridge.
was
and
so
it was
cool.
It was Bilgewater themed. Mm-hmm. It was very cool.
I wish I played it more.
And that was a Thunderdome project from previously.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really fucking cool. I think Gangplank might be the first. He might be the first champion we've hit too who has an announcer voice pack. He might be the only one now that I think about it. Because didn't he announce in the Rift too, not just Arian?
Yeah, it was every single map, which was also Twisted Treeline at the time, but he took over every single map and was the announcer for all of them.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Should we call it the fact that he died? I mean, he died during this, right? Like that's supposed to be the big thing, right? Is it like he dies at the end of part 3, and then in game he also dies, right? So there was a period of time where people thought, "Oh fuck, they killed Gangplank."
Yes, it is worth mentioning that if you go back and read this story from beginning to end, it's not going to have the same impact. This story was released in parts over the course of several weeks. So the part where it was thought that Gangplank was dead He was literally removed from the game.
So fucking stupid.
So, which, as you could imagine, it was pretty cool narratively. We got a lot of really upset player support tickets from people that were like, excuse me, I spent actual money on this champion. Give me a refund or give me the champion back. There was a lot of confusion there.
There's already a ghost Gangplank. I think it would have been funny if they just deactivated every other skin temporarily, or just made his splash the ghost Gangplank splash.
That was actually kicked around. That was one of the potential ideas that they were going to do, is just make Spooky Gangplank
the default,
available for everyone, and that would be the only one that...
Oh my god, Riot. That was a boo-boo.
Yeah, overruled.
You know, I've said it before, but I fucking love the gumption of that. Like, I totally get it, right? I get how it is painful to the player experience, but it's also one of the most notable fucking things I can think of happening in League.
Just
lore,
imagine
is that Gangplank fucking died for a bit.
Imagine you don't pay any attention to the lore and you don't give a fuck, and like all of a sudden your main champion's deleted from the game. You're like, wait.
Exactly. That's the thing where it's like, it's just 100% pain. There is no player value in that scenario, right? So I get that.
And keep in mind too, I'm pretty sure this was technically before Universe was even live. So like we didn't have a good depository of like lore. So if you wanted to be super into lore or just figure out what was going on, like you better catch those micro events, brah. Like
yeah, for sure. But the time to be alive, right? We're fucking
right. It was not a good time to be alive if you were working in player support at the time.
Which John was.
Oh, man.
All right, I think that's probably it for like the canon Gangplank. Are we having any final thoughts on him?
I did just want to mention, so I told you I'd give you a list of short stories. If you want to learn all about what happens in Bilgewater in the power vacuum that's created once Gangplank dies, you can read Shadow and Fortune, Dead in the Water, Destiny and Fate, Down Among the Dead Men, and Fortune Smiles. Those are all short stories that are all revolving around the fact of like, there is a power vacuum, what now?
And where would those be found?
Those will all be found on Universe somewhere.
Okay.
Are they?
Can people search?
It's a combination. So Shadow and Fortune is under GP. Dead in the Water, Destiny and Fate will be under Graves TF.
Okay.
Down Among the Dead Men, probably also Graves or TF. Fortune Smiles is Misfortune.
What?
But it's a comic, so who the fuck knows if it's actually linked anywhere?
That's fair, actually.
I honestly can't wait to get to Graves now.
Sure. I think I was surprised at how much content Misfortune has too, so I think she'll be very interesting.
Oh, yeah?
I think she's probably the most where Riot has been like, okay, we need to fucking fix this character. What can we do? Just pile on lore to just try and really flesh her out. Right?
Redhead shooty shoot gun lady. Pew pew.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess not so much about Gangplank, but I like how they took the whole story of him falling and that there is a power vacuum. That's fun, and I like that it wasn't that Misfortune didn't just get one over and that's it, and job's done. Right? It's much more realistic. Like, no, it's a city full of fucking criminals. Right? They're just going to take what they can get, and like you had said, she's not very that like lack of satisfaction was kind of neat to see, and how she's having to. God, now I can't wait for the Misfortune shit to see how she deals with the aftermath of this crap. So
I know. I do hope we get like the aftermath and not just everything before this, because we already know all of that.
Yeah, that's bio type shit.
For sure. We'll see.
Beyond that, I know we already credited the VO. I like his quotes. I like that. So he's got that captain skin, which I've played him once or twice, and I've only ever used the captain skin, and I kind of didn't realize he has an entirely different set of quotes for the captain skin. And it's very nice, like, beforehand he's very confident, and, he's kind of talking mad shit, and then afterwards he's very much, the quotes reflect what's happened. So I like I like this whole thing where something has happened in the lore, and now the character has changed, both, obviously with the metal arm, and then especially with the skin shit too. That's pretty neat.
I wrote down one quote from Burning Tides that I just hated so much.
Oh shit. Okay, let's hear it.
And it said, as expected, the main warehouse is locked up tighter than a noblewoman's virtue. Fucking disgusting.
Hey, man.
Gross, Ryan.
It's Bilgewater.
I don't care. Are there noble women? No. And from what we've seen, a lot of nobility, they don't do that shit except Demacia.
Yeah, they get sold off when they're like 16.
What? Just Demacia?
Yeah, to Demacia.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to take us out of Bilgewater?
I was just going to say a few other quotes that I wrote down that I thought were fun. Mm-hmm. Is when you buy IE, he does specifically say, sharp enough to etch bone. You know, a little callback to his Scrimshaw days.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like how you wrote down this. The Graves one is one of the only ones that I've ever heard, actually.
Right. It's so it's like
it's very out of character.
Yeah,
it's so out of character.
He's got a quote towards Graves that says,
You will never have a grave, Graves. See, it's 'cause your name. Your name is like a grave. Never mind.
It's like Dad Gangplank. Not Daddy Gangplank. Dad. A father. Papa Gangplank.
Papa Plank.
Papa Plank.
All right. So yeah, he's part of a few AUs, not AUs that have a ton of lore. I'll say he's part of Dreadnova, which he also has a short cinematic for, very short.
As short as his bio?
Shorter, in fact.
Fuck.
It's basically just a skin reveal with a tiny cinematic of GP blowing up a planet from space with his ult.
Cool.
So in terms of the actual, universe, a galaxy scarred by war now attempts to rebuild, but the old wounds remain. Criminals, bounty hunters, mercenaries, and assassins have filled the power vacuum, piloting dangerous combat exosuits with godlike abilities. Even in this... Oh yeah, this isn't part, this is just a note I wrote. It's worth mentioning that even in this universe, he is hunted by Misfortune in her gun goddess mecha suit.
Jesus.
So his lore blurb here is, once a high-ranking admiral in the Royal Space Military, Gangplank's reign of terror began when he stole and proliferated blueprints for a former colleague's experimental superweapon. Ending a 1,000-year civil war in an instant, he defected with a massive armed battalion and formed the interplanetary criminal network known as the Dreadnova Corps.
Oh, that's super boring.
My guess is that whole ending a 1,000-year civil war in an instant thing is probably the part of the cinematic where he just blew up that planet.
No more civil war. There's no more
Problem
civils.
solved.
Wow.
He's also part of the Pool Party skin line, set in a summer setting where each champion is equipped with summertime clothing. Mm-hmm. Gangplank is the self-crowned King of the Grill. But his summer bod is the real life of the party. Ooh. There should be a law against those abs.
All right, you lost me. I love the Pool Party skins, though.
Yeah.
That was for the record all part of the lore. None of that was.
John didn't make that up. Just so you know, someone else did.
And then he's part of Commando,
where he's naked. I'll make that joke every fucking time.
Good. This is a Special Forces Gangplank. How special are the Special Forces? Let's put it this way. They're the only unit in the military with unlimited access to oranges.
Jokes and jokes.
Jokey. My fucking naked joke was funnier than that.
Wonders of the world!
Oh, God. Okay.
This is set in an alternate Earth where each champion represents the culture of a real-world nation. And this one is Sultan Gangplank from Turkey.
Oh.
Gangplank is a ruler from a distant land, and tales of his battle prowess and flowing red beard have reached even the farthest-flung city-states. As all rulers from distant lands, he also sports a snappy hat.
Sure.
Dope. Good shit.
And he's part of Day Job, where each skin represents champions in their daily job routine with Sailor Gangplank.
This is a stretch.
Not to be confused with Pirate Gangplank. And this one just has a little poem. Oh, Bilgewater has been my home since last time I was sailin'. But I'll not stay another day. I'd sooner be out whalin'.
Hey. Is this the skin where he's just got a Glock for a gun? It's just like a regular pistol, right?
Oh God, I don't remember.
I don't know. I'd have to. I know it's the one where he looks like Popeye.
Yeah, I don't know what it looks like anymore. Maybe that changed. But I feel like he used to just have a pistol.
He's also part of Toy Box, set in Dino Gnar's Toy Box. It features champions as toys that came to life. Now, this skin was actually originally released as a Snowdown Showdown skin in 2011, but it joined the Toy Box universe when it became a thing. So this one is Toy Soldier Gangplank. Gangplank is a model soldier in the toy army, racking up an impressive array of victories against the dolls and stuffed animals. He hopes to one day be named Toy General, leading his troops into glorious battle.
So I'm looking at the Sailor Gangplank, and the old one, he does just have a fucking Glock, dude.
I think
like
that's what
in
I'm-
the game.
It's so out of... It doesn't match the rest of the costume at all,
He just said that at Grand Theft Auto, dude.
right?
I think they updated it, and he doesn't look like that anymore. He looks
Yeah.
like this now. He's like a gold
sure.
gun.
That makes
But-
more sense.
Yeah.
It's really good. Fuck.
Yeah, and that's actually the only universe. He's also got a World Championship skin for FPX, Fun Plus Phoenix, honoring Gimgoon's winning performance as Gangplank during the 2019 World Championship.
You have so many fun facts.
I have some fun facts.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them we've talked about, so I'll just skip them. But
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard the I ate oranges and it was K meme, but there was a meme for a while about I ate oranges and it was K. And it was so popular that Riot made merchandise of a stress ball shaped like an orange with Gangplank's face on it that
Yeah.
said it's K.
I think we have one or two floating
We
around
do.
the house for sure. They were like thrown at you at events.
Yep.
I forgot all about those fucking things. But the moment you started fucking talking about it, oh man. We have one floating around too.
Our cats have played with them, so I think
Yeah,
there's
they
like little
love 'em.
bite marks in them. But
Now, according to the Legends of Runeterra, he now has a new ship after he lost the Deadpool in this tragic explosion accident, and his new ship is called the Dreadway.
You know what else is funky about Runeterra is there is a ship called... So it mentions in his bio that he stole the Leviathan from Swain. And there's a big fuck-off Noxian card called the Leviathan, which is a giant fucking Ironsides ship. But I don't know if that's still canon. I guess... Who knows?
Or maybe he, Swain named a new ship the Leviathan, so that if people are like, Gangplank stole the Leviathan, he could be like, nah, it's right here, brah.
it's right
This
here.
thing's
It's a Swain
massive.
thing to do.
Unstealable.
Another fun fact about GP eating habits, he prefers to dip his oranges into the sea before eating them because he enjoys the combination of salty and sweet.
Oh.
I'd try it. I saw that and I was like, I would give that a
No.
try. Maybe not seawater because I don't want to hallucinate, but you know,
Okay.
a little salt.
Especially Bilgewater, seawater.
Oh god.
Right? Oh, God, yeah. Ugh. Ugh. It reminds me of the sea salt ice cream from Kingdom Hearts that they used to eat all the time.
Gangplank should be in Kingdom Hearts. Now I want to see that.
Right. Oh my god. League of Characters in Kingdom Hearts would be fun. I'd actually watch you play it. I really don't like Kingdom Hearts.
Final thing, several skins that were Gangplank has several skins that were released for server anniversaries. So Sultan Gangplank was actually for the 1-year anniversary of the Turkish server, and Commando GP was released for the Brazilian server launch.
I wonder why I picked Gangplank. Yeah.
I don't know. The Sultan thing I didn't know. I knew he was. I thought there was something to do with his commando skin where it was kind of a direct reference to like a really big action movie star in Brazil. I don't remember, but that's pretty fucking cool actually. Let's say if we got anyone from Brazil who's listening who knows what the hell the deal is, because I thought like some of his VO lines, or at least he's got maybe one quote that directly references this actor or something. I don't know. I guess I remember a story from Riot where they were going to release that skin, and then someone noticed that like the quotes were all wrong, so they like stopped the whole release. Does this sound familiar to you, John?
No, this
It was
is
one of the
new.
like the Tales of Riotness where someone was like, "Look, we got to stop the whole fucking patch release because you didn't like the quotes aren't translated right."
Oh,
about this.
interesting.
Yeah, and they did, and they fixed them, and then they released it, and I think everyone liked it, but I don't know if there's anyone out there who knows what the hell I'm talking about, or if I'm just rambling. Let us know.
But yeah, those were the fun facts. I will say one last bit is he does have some Journal of Justice content.
Oh God.
Yeah. So the first thing is he was referenced in a question. So the Journal of Justice used to have basically like a Yahoo Answers functionality where you'd submit questions to the Journal of Justice, and sometimes they'd answer them like, in character. So the question was, while summoning Olaf, the summoner has heard him mention his fondness of long beards and large belt buckles. Other champions seem to share this, such as Zillion, Gragas, and Gangplank, the latter of which obviously follows a similar trend as Olaf. Does the Journal of Justice witness any encounters between has the Journal of Justice witnessed any encounters between these champions? Basically, the answer here was, funny that you should ask this question. Gragas recently invited the Journal of Justice staff down to the Lamplighter Inn in Noxus for a promotional event for his wildly popular brewery. After more rounds of Graggy Ice than would be proper to publish,
That's horrible.
our beloved bearded champions got into a heated argument about the intricacies of facial hair grooming. The disagreement erupted into a brawl that nearly leveled Noxus's Vexalian Square, only to be abated by the promise of a beard brawl bowl at a later date. Gragas has been petitioning the League to allow the fight on the fields of justice, with only bearded or mustachioed champions in the lineup.
Dope.
Also, there was a blurb about a rum competition between Misfortune, Plankwalkin' Pete, and Myron. And interestingly enough, Myron also shows up in the short story about the Black Mist, the Misfortune one, basically. When Misfortune and her forces are fighting back the wraiths that attack from the Black Mist, it's said that Misfortune has dipped all of her bullets in Myron's Dark, which is the ale that was entered into this competition.
Oh, weird.
I guess that's just a little
Yeah.
wink.
Fun little
For those-
wink.
Those Journal of Justice, fans out there. Huh.
Don't worry, fans. We remember. Any final thoughts? How we feeling?
I feel like Gangplank is poised to do something. I feel like I kind of need a little more. Like, I like him as a villain,
Yeah.
and I like someone who's, I'm glad not having a sympathetic villain. It's taken us a while. And that being said, I really would like to get some follow-up to what he's done to try and take Bilgewater back.
Yeah, I would love follow-up. I honestly, I'd love if you just add some of his old lore back into his bio, because his bio is so bare bones right now. I want something. But it's also worth noting that, there's a lot of the short stories associated with Gangplank are very long.
Yeah.
And they took a while to get through, but they were good reads. I enjoyed my time reading them, and I enjoyed the stories that they told. So that's something to be, because this could have been a very torturous week otherwise.
Yeah, I'm glad that one short story, Burning Tides, was more interesting. Even though Gangplank was the least interesting thing about it to be honest. But that's okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you, Mark. I like that we have this unsympathetic villain, but I would like more of the aftershot of what Gangplank is like now, because I find that very interesting.
Yeah.
Especially because it's with the whole Burden story where he successfully completes the test that Alawi set forth, and then Alawi, as far as we can tell, has provided him the resources of the sect that controls the entire island area that he's on. Presumably he's in a good position now to take back over. So I would love to see what that vie for power with the support of this religion actually looks like.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting as well because Yaoi has some interactions with MF, and they're not necessarily opposed or anything like that. Yaoi's just kind of running her own. She has her own purposes, right? And it's kind of putting them at odds, but not in not in like a directly conflict kind of way, which is interesting. I would, yeah, like we said, love to see some sort of follow up to it, especially also because that burden story, it kind of also tries to tell us that Gangplank has gotten very, I guess, complacent, would you say, in his position as kind of the pirate king, and he's now kind of set to purpose again. So I'd like to see how that manifests.
Yeah, I'd like to see how the fear of him changes as well. Everyone assumed he died, so for him to come back and to seem even more unkillable than he was.
Ooh, yeah.
And to kind of what that does to the people. Are they more afraid? Are they more wanting to rebel and get rid of him now because they're that scared of him? I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And how Gangplank responds to that, I guess. I always assumed that he'd want people to be as terrified of him as possible, but this might be a level that he wasn't expecting. Seeing him as a ghost kind of way. Yeah, I don't know. But I think that's Gangplank. Thanks for listening. We are on Twitter at Loreheads, and we post these episodes on YouTube as well. We are going to be streaming July 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Twitch channel, which is Beckworm, BEKWORM. I'm pretty excited for us to all play together. Very badly. Very, very badly.
Yeah. Come in with low expectations and you might not be disappointed.
Yeah. We were talking about maybe trying to do some lore matchups or something like that with the champions we play. We'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure.
If you have any ideas, hit us up on Twitter for some good lore matchups.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think we did want to do an all Yordle team at some point. We thought that would be fun. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And join us next week for what I assume is going to be a tremendously long episode as we talk about the might of Demacia, Garen,